Hello, Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. Today's date, it is August 16th of 2022. As you know, I've been messing for the last few days with Spectrum cable. Been using it for years and have basically it's been good. But the Biden administration passed a while back legislation that encourages cable companies to make available low-cost internet, at good speeds and everything like that. And for people who are low income, you can get it at $20 or $30 or something like that. It may vary a little bit between the. Just made a video on this, by the way, I think yesterday, so you can watch that video because I don't want to go into the whole thing. Except I've been using Spectrum, and I signed up and I got the. What hasn't shown up yet, but I'm supposed to be able to get the high-speed internet, 1 gig down, and I think 40 megs up, I believe it is. And of course, I signed up, for when it was available, and it had to go by where you live, if so that they have, 5G available and that type of thing. So anyway, finally I was approved. I think I was approved earlier. I mean, I went and applied, and then it said, we'll let you know. And then I just the other day, a few days ago, I thought I better. So I went and logged in to the site, and boom, it says, hey, you're qualified, and you'll be paying $20 a month. Now, I mentioned this. I don't want to go through this whole thing again, but I mentioned this. The government is paying, the price of the internet service was that I pay every month, and I'm still showing that I have to pay that amount of $97 a month for the high-speed internet and one phone line. But the government is going to pay, and I don't know how much, but they're going to pay these internet service providers. So it's not like the internet service providers are doing something out of their goodwill of their heart, or they think it's a good idea or whatever. No. The government passed a thing to use X amount of money and make available, because everybody really needs now high-speed internet, especially with the virus thing that is and was going on, all that type of stuff. So so anyway, then I checked and saw that I was approved and whatever, and I clicked on the thing to install it and that type of thing, and I went out through this the other day, so I'm not going to repeat the whole thing. Anyway, you're supposed to be able to hook this up yourself. They sent me a box, very fast service, came out. And I hooked it up, and well, first I had trouble. Well, not first and second, I had trouble. I thought I thought this thing would, I would have to aim it at a 5G antenna someplace out there or whatever. And I messed with it. Actually, 6 hours I was messing with this. Actually, I woke up. The box was at the door at 8 a.m. And I didn't eat breakfast. I didn't take my medicines. I worked on that, and nothing. Finally, I called and the line, and they said, "Oh, well, you need a router. You need a router." I don't know why I needed a router, and they said, "Oh, okay, we can send you one. It'll be," or they said, "You can go pick it up," And I didn't say, "Hey, we don't have a car. If I don't have a license, I just said, no. I said, send it to me. And, of course, I haven't got it yet. I'm not sure I'm going to get the router. But I never got, anyway, I said, okay, can I do this? Can I unhook everything that I was sent? Now, because he was doing things on the, okay, we're changing this, we're changing that. And I said, well, have you changed anything that's going to be a problem for me? Because now what I want to do is just disconnect the new stuff that I hooked up and go back to the old stuff. Because I'm getting 400, almost 400 megs down. And now the one thing, when I clicked and found that I was eligible or whatever, I've been getting 20 megs up, 20 megs up, 400, about 400 down. And I said, I'll hook up the old thing, and then when I get the router and that type of stuff, then, and he said, yeah, you can do that. So I hooked the old thing up, and I still had, of course, then, it was working, and I had, almost 400 up, but I had, 400 down, and instead of having 20 up, I had 40 up, which must have something to do with their settings immediately, because that's when it happened, when I was messing with it. So then I thought, I think it was later that day, I believe, then I called back and I said, can I just have a serviceman come? I explained, and I said, can I just have a service guy come out and install this for me? And they said, yes, you can. And I said, how much is it going to be? And he said, well, how many are you going to have? And I said, just one, installation or whatever. I said, I have multiple computers, but he said, okay, well, it will not be more than $49, $49.99 or something. I said, I will take that service. And he said, okay, they can be out there today. And I was calling like at noon or 1 o'clock. And he said, okay, be somebody coming between 2 and 3, I think it was. Anyway, the guy came out. I could barely understand him. I don't know if he's from Haiti or where he was from, but I could barely understand him. I only got occasional words, that I could understand him saying. Now I have some hearing problem, but that was not the problem. The problem was his, I don't know what. Seemed like a real nice guy, though. It was hot. I got him a can of Coke, and whatever. And it was kind of hard to ask him any questions, and stuff. Then finally he says, okay, well, you're all hooked up. And then I said, well, let me check, Then I said, my computer's in here. I said, come on in. So he came in here and he goes, wow, what a setup you've got. It's not that special, I don't think, And he said, oh, yeah. And I said, well, these two of these tables, and each one's $115, not bad, each one, Stuff. Anyway, so anyway, we checked the speed, and the speed was the same thing I got before he made the installation, 350 or so megs down, and of course that was 20 or 40 up, because it was, of course I got that before he showed up. I was getting that, But then I said, I don't understand why this has to be plugged into a coaxial cable that goes out you know, to the box next. I thought it was going to be, you know, 5G. I don't know what he said. I couldn't understand what he said about that. And I said also, it's supposed to be, you know, 1 gig down, and I said, this is fast. I mean, it's, you know, whatever. He says, oh yeah, and I couldn't understand exactly what he said. It seemed like he said, well, at home I've got 30 or 40 or something, you know, speed. He says, that's all you need. And I didn't say, oh, well, you know, yeah, I can, like, this works for me, but I would like to have, you know. And then he left. But he did not charge me. He said, I'm not going to charge you for this. And I don't know whether he'd actually took it off or not on his cell phone. He, you know, said, I'm not charging you for this, you know. And so I'm back to where I was, except the only difference is right now, instead of getting 20 megs upload, I'm getting 40 megs upload. And that extra 20 with uploading a YouTube video, whatever, that makes a difference. So I'm waiting for the router to show up. You know, I don't think that this service that I got is 5G. I don't believe. Now I can live with what this speed, but if the government is paying, you know, in my case, if they're paying for me getting, you know, a gig down, and I don't know how much up, and then the government is getting cheated, you know, getting cheated a little bit on this thing. I think I messed up. I don't think that Sprint is using, not Sprint, Spectrum. I don't think, because the box to replace the box that I had, they looked absolutely identical in every way. And also for why would I need to plug into also the instructions that would have came with the thing? They didn't say anything about you needed a good location because of the satellite or the antennas, 5G antennas or whatever. It may, you know, so I think that Spectrum is not using that. In which case, I thought it would be good to have the ability to, you know, move the thing around. Not that I have a car or anything like that, but I also thought a long time ago that it'd be nice to have, you know, a setup where you could move someplace, you know, and have access, you know, to the, so I don't know. I think I'm thoroughly confused. This, by the way, packet came, you know, with the stuff. I need to use my sharp knife. Okay, here is a adapter, two-way splitter, in case I need it. Okay, here's a cable that goes to, you know, the thing from your box or whatever. You know, if I had a whole bunch, I wonder how much cable, you know, I don't want to run that down. I'd have to run it down the middle of the floor or something. You know, networking cable. I think this is phone, yeah, this is phone cable. And this is more cable for some type of marked spectrum, by the way. I don't know what's going on. I'm too old for this. You may notice a little different video. And I really like it. I've been using, I've mentioned many times, the Avery camera. It's really nice. I really like it. But I just disconnected. The reason I disconnected it, they update this software a whole bunch. You know, my computer will show that there's a upgrade or whatever. It shows up in the thing for you know, Windows upgrades or something. And every time then well, not every time there's an upgrade for this, which is very often, then I have to run something, and then it causes a little problem that it takes me a little bit to whatever. I guess I should just have said don't upgrade, and I think everything would have worked just fine. I'm not doing any fancy stuff. But with the Brio, it doesn't update that often, or if it updates, it doesn't make me go in there and change a bunch of settings. So I'm using that right now. That's the Brio camera on a tripod. I'm making this with Manicam. You're not seeing my screen because I just right now my screen is not. Okay, you're seeing the screen, but you're seeing my mouse going across there. Wait a minute. Okay, now you're not. Anyway, I've got to go in and set this setting. Wait a minute. I think now I'm over here on screen 2. No, that's not right. Because screen 2, it's screen 1 that has the folders here, and I don't know what's going on. I don't want a whole bunch of changes. Well, I want improvements and stuff, but let me take a sip of Coke here. Let me minimize this, which you're not seeing. See if I drag this over. This is the Manicam software. It's not showing here. Yeah, I got to go in here and make some more changes. I guess I could hook this Avery up on my other, I don't know. If I put it on the other camera, or the other, that's, whoops. So, 18 minutes. I haven't said anything worthwhile in those 18 minutes, but yeah, I guess I need to take my morning medications and work with this Manicam thing to see about getting so I can show you the screen that's there. And then I guess I need to do some other things also. And, oh, that's why I opened that package. No, I don't see a cable in there for that. Yeah, there isn't. It says I have an app on my cell phone for Spectrum, I think. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. When I was talking to Spectrum, the guy said, well, I can't send you the router. You have to sign a paper. It has to be signed. And I said, well, can I, when it gets sent, no, it has to be done before I can have them send you the router. And the router's free, but it's some type of how they have these things. I don't know what it is. It must be something like, you're sent this and you can only use the software with Spectrum, or you can't use this to start your own Spectrum. It's got to be something legal like that, because this guy was like, and he said, can I, he said, I can send you a, text message. I said, fine. Never showed up. I said, well, can you send it to my email address? Never showed up. So I don't know what's going on. I think I'm just too old to have computers. Okay, what did I want to look for? Alexa, no. Is this Android? What is this? Android. I'm so sick and tired. I went through too, and I just deleted a whole bunch of apps. I mean, there's you don't know exactly what they are. It'll be something that, like it'll be the Messenger or some type of thing. And, okay, is this Windows? Is this Microsoft? Is this, you don't know. It should be required somehow. Like, go through apps or whatever, and is this the approved one, or is it somebody? Because you'll see, I'm trying to think of something, but is this Facebook thing, or is this another thing, and they're just coming in and getting you to click on these things? Let's see. Gmail, Home, Walgreens, Walmart, Wells Fargo Bank. Okay, I mean, those things are okay, but okay, is this my Sprint, or I mean mine Spectrum? Okay, welcome to Spectrum. Okay, welcome to Spectrum. Get started. I think I did this yesterday, but I'm not sure. Okay. Sign in. Oh, crap. I mean, okay. This is for Spectrum. Okay. So I have I use LastPass. Oh, crap. Okay. Oh, crap. Okay, I'm entering my username. Okay, how in the hell, where's the underline? Okay, I think that's the underline. Okay, I got the, let's see if this is an underline or if it's a dash. It's a dash. Oh, Christ, Must have to use this thing over here to get it. And I think that might be it, because I see check marks and all kinds of things, and where in the hell is the underline? Of course, I know if you know the code, you can go in and, to hell, I'd like to throw this fucking thing, Oh. Anyway. Thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe. Give a thumbs up. I'm not sure it makes any... Okay, I need an naproxen, but I don't want to take an naproxen. That's for the arthritis pain. Okay, right now I don't want to take a water pill. that I have enough problems right now with that. Okay. See if I can swallow all these. There's a capsule and then 1, 2, 3, 4 pills. I mentioned this, I'm sure, in one of my videos, more than one of my videos in the past. Well, I got married at age 26. I can remember at age 26, I could not swallow pills. I had to try to get a doctor to let me crush up the pills or or get it in liquid form. I remember going one time to the pharmacy with a prescription, and the pharmacist was, "Is this for a child?" No, it was because he says, I can't swallow pills. When I was a kid, younger than 5 or whatever, well, after 5, I don't know how long after 5, but of course I could not swallow a pill. I couldn't swallow. I know when I got married at 26, I couldn't swallow a pill. Would have been good, I guess, to have YouTube back then. I'm sure that probably, has somebody made a video on how to swallow a pill? Anyway, when I was a kid, well, when I was in like kindergarten, 5, my parents rented. We'd just come back from California because my parents both worked during World War II building Liberty ships. So anyway, then we moved into for 1 year or less, and rented a room or whatever from a nice lady. She died my mother. Well, my mother kept in contact with everybody, and she called them. Well, when she started drinking, my mother called them. Got her address book out. Started with A. We had family that was Anderson, so they got called first, and she, Anyway, Mrs. Hannah, the landlady, was a real nice lady. But I remember when I was 5, I guess my parents must have told me, be quiet going down the stairs. And so I had nightmares of going down the stairs and falling and making a noise. But anyway, I had to take some kind of pill for some reason. Maybe it was Viagra. I'm kidding, of course, but, because I was 5 and it hadn't been invented yet. But so I had to take a pill, I guess. I'm not sure what it was for, and I couldn't swallow it. So my mother, pushed a pill in my mouth, and I put her hand over. The landlady, Mrs. Hannah, sat on me, all types of stuff. I couldn't swallow pills. I couldn't swallow pills for years, or whatever. And when I tried to swallow pills, I took a big old gulp of. Well, I don't think I ever drank water. Took a big old thing, and the pills just kind of floated around in there. And at some point, I don't think YouTube was the one, and I'm probably somebody has made one. How to swallow a pill. When I get this other screen working, where we could do a search and see if somebody actually made one. Yeah, what you need to do is, well, my advice is, you take a small sip of water. Otherwise, the pills are floating around in your mouth, trying to make sure you don't swallow them or something, So, part of my history. Oh, Mrs. Hannah. She was a seamstress, so she had these mannequins, in the place when I went to kindergarten there, in Kansas City, Missouri, Horseman School. I think I went for half a day. My mother, walked me over to the school and left me there for the first day of kindergarten, and then my mother walked back, and when she got back to Mrs. Hannah's place, I was behind her. I followed her. I never cared for school too much. But anyway, Mrs. Hannah, anyway, I worked hospital security for, let's see, 30 years. A number of different hospitals. A person goes, you're supposed to get a tetanus shot every 2 or 3 years or something. I forget, I should know. And in case, you know, especially if you're working like I did for years as welder, boilermaker, you know, building trucks, building railroad cars, all kinds of different things. No matter what it is, you're supposed to should have a tetanus shot, or you can die from lockjaw. So when people come into the hospital, you know, for whatever you come in for, the nurse is going to ask, you know, if you come in the emergency room, you know, and the nurse is going to ask you, have you had your tetanus shot? And if you say no, then okay, we'll give you a tetanus shot. Of course, they can't make you take it, you know what I mean? But you'll get a tetanus shot. Okay, Mrs. Hannah, she rented out rooms, and she was also a seamstress. But later on, from my mother, you know, talking to her, my mother found out that she was raising worms and selling that to bait shops so people could fish. Anyway, Mrs. Hannah got a cut or something on her hand, and I guess because of the worms, or maybe the worms had nothing to do with it, but she got tetanus and she died from lockjaw. So a few times, you know, when I was working, especially while I was working at this one hospital for 10 years, a small hospital, right? I could almost throw a rock from that hospital, and almost, you know, I had to be a really good, you know, and hit where I lived. But I asked several times. I asked like an ER doctor, do you know anybody who ever died from lockjaw? Nope. I said, I actually did, and then I told my little story, not the whole thing about, you know, not being able to swallow pills and that kind of stuff. I asked some nurses too, and they were, wow, you really, you know. So, but yeah, if I know there's people who think that science doesn't exist, or that polio never existed. My ex-wife got polio just before the vaccine came out, and I can remember as a kid watching on the news. I think we had 3 TV stations at that time, maybe 4, maybe it was the UHF one also. But I mean, every summer or whatever, they would be, movie theaters would be closed because of polio, swimming pools would be closed because of polio, and the grade school that I went to, and I graduated in 1955, yeah, about the tallest girl in our class, someplace I have a picture of that class picture, but she got polio also out of the class. You know, but anyway, people, you know, yeah, get a tetanus shot, especially if you're working at the type of jobs that I had, you know, that I had for a long time. But vaccines do work, and well, I don't want to get into name callings. Anyway, believe me, vaccines do work. The tallest girl in our class, and she graduated in 1955 with, you know, that was the class I was in, and she got polio that summer. I'm not sure when the, let's see, Alexa, when did the polio vaccine come out?
According to the CDC's vaccine price list for 2022, the inactivated polio vaccine, or IPV, costs between $14 and $132. It's recommended that children get 4 doses of polio vaccine. They should get 1 dose at each of the following ages: 2 months old, 4 months old, 6 through 18 months old, and 4 through 6 years old. For more information, visit polio vaccination, what everyone should know on cdc.gov.
Alexa, when did the polio vaccine come out?
According to the CDC's vaccine price list for 2022, the inactivated polio vaccine, or IPV, costs between $14 and $132.
Alexa off. I'm asking the question wrong. Anyway, I need to ask it. Well, I need to look it up, but I don't want to, I don't know. Never mind. Thank you very much for watching. If you know when the vaccine came out and when you got your vaccine, leave it below. Oh, excuse me.